The day that we rescued Caleb, that was a Sunday. I got a call on my cell phone from the state trooper in King Salmon. As soon as I got that call, I knew something was off, and basically I just started getting dressed. My wife was on the phone with other people that I ride with frequently that really know this area. Basically, we all gathered up, just met each other at the lake as quick as we could. We had the general idea where he was just based on what the trooper was saying and the in-reach texting that he was getting, so he was able to relay the coordinates. Mark Schwantes, while we were driving to the lake, he contacted Gabe Davis just to see maybe he was around, just to see what he was doing.
So the day of the rescue, I was hauling a lot of gear up to my cabin. I got a call from a local guy named Mark and said there was a snow machine that needed a bit of help. For whatever reason, the troopers weren't able to get in the ski plane they had here to get out, and so I flew over, and when we saw Caleb, there was quite a big pool of blood around him, and so I knew right away it was pretty serious. And at that point I asked, what was the plan? And they told me that there was going to be helicopters coming from Anchorage, and I knew the timeline of that would be 2.5 to 3 hours, which I thought was too long. So I insisted that we get him in the plane, or see if we could get him in the plane, because I could get him back to Dillingham in 12 minutes.
We found his single track. We were able to follow that single track. We knew we were going to come across him at some point. The very first sign we saw was an arm, like over the horizon, just an arm like waving really slowly. And we're just like, oh man, there he is. As soon as we get up close to him, at the last second, we noticed an open creek, and it was just, you cannot see that creek. It is just on the other side of a little downslope hump and out in the middle of nowhere.
So he wasn't able to clear the creek and slammed into the other side of the creek, and it was also about an 8-foot drop. And when he did that, he came over the front of the snow machine, smashed his face into the engine of the snowmobile.
So we got Caleb wrapped up in the sleeping bag and got him warm and got a fire going. And then right after that, Gabe Davis came flying over.
Walked for about 3/4 of a mile through the snow to get to where the crash site was.
We laid Caleb across the backside of my snow machine as I feathered the throttle just really lightly and just walked our whole crew all the way 300, 400 yards to Gabe's plane.
After we loaded him up, got him back to Dillingham, made some radio calls and let Flight Service Station know that we had a pretty critical patient that needed a lot of help. And the medics were there, the first responders were there, they were awesome. The medics took Caleb to the hospital, I assume to stabilize him in some way, and then rushed back. And I heard that the Learjet went from Dillingham directly to Seattle, where he underwent quite a few surgeries. I talked to Caleb a couple times. He ran up to me in the hardware store and gave me a big hug the first time I saw him, and it was really nice to see him and to see that he was in stable condition, obviously walking around, and he was in good spirits and very appreciative, and it was just nice to see him. Felt good to see him walking around.